Hello my paisans, this is Super RJ, and welcome back to Disney Month. Today, I'm gonna do another new video series called Movie versus Movie, where I took two movies that's similar or see both of them belongs in the same movie that are popular or not that popular, and see if I think are good, which one of them are better. So, for this one on this is the first episode of my new video series on my video series month, known as Disney Month. I decided to do a movie was the first one, and the second one was a prequel. I'm talking about I'm talking about the Monsters Inc. movie. I used to like the first Monsters Inc. a lot, like when I was young, and I still like it today. But when I heard Pixar making the prequel, Monsters University, it was I watched it and it was one of the best things that Pixar. It's a really good movie that Pixar ever made. It's a good prequel, and it does have a full quality to the original film. And that's why I'm gonna. Well, I was wondering which one of these movies I like better. So that's why I'm gonna do it today. So this is my movie. This is movie on the Monster Inc. movies. Now let's get to the few. Let's get the three topics I got to know. Only come up with for the today. First, we're gonna do the plot, the animation, and the characters. I might add some extra topics soon. I might add some extra topics for this video, but I'm getting a little ahead of my track here. Anyway, let's get on to this. First off, the plot. Now, if you don't remember the plot of Monsters Inc., I'll give you a story. Excuse me, it's so hot in here. The plot in Monsters Inc. is that, well, the monsters who live in the monster world where their job is to collect powers of screaming children and all that stuff, until one day, this little girl who went into the monster world named Boo, who caused panic around the town, until our two main monsters, Mike and Sully, have to go save her, get her back to her bedroom so make sure that it won't get caught. And that's very simple. And in fact, I think the plot is actually kind of a new thing they did in Monsters Inc. But the whole monster coming in the kid's closet and scared them is nothing all that new. I mean, we all seen this a billion times, right? In cartoons and comic books and so on and so forth. What makes the story even more interesting is that it mainly focuses on the relationship between Sully and Boo. Well, I think that Sully is actually the main character in the movie, in the first one. Mike and Sully are the main characters, but I think Sully is the character because we do feel root for him, how much he knows, how much he actually care about Boo, and so on. As for Mike, he is a good buddy, and he does have few one-liners that are good, actually funny and good. And you get a little detail that he is really helpful around Sully, if he's trying to help him make sure the situation doesn't go to keep getting in their way. Well, what's the plot for Monsters University? Well, in this film, it mainly focused on Mike instead of Sully. In this one, Mike was become the scarer in Monsters University, but Mike's a jock, and he's a popular kid in school, getting about by grades. After him and Sully got in a fight, which caused to get out of the scaring program, now they have to team up with the lowest popular frat team known as Uzma Kappa to help them get into the scare games so they can rejoin the scaring program. And that's basically the same. Now, when I saw Dog Walker did his this December on this film, he said that the plot is just a generic 80s college movie ripoffs. Now, I never saw any of these 80s college ripoffs, and I kind of understand why. Like Pixar don't know how to come up with a story about monsters in the college industry. It doesn't do that much, but you get the point. And it's generic how the story is. You really know that it only focuses on Mike a lot instead of Mike and Sully. And of course, Mike does have some situation in his hands that, well, we all know he's not much of a scarer. He's more like fearless. And that's kind of basically simple as to the plot. Like the plot has three acts. Like I said in the story, the first one, Mike and Sully enter MU, and then the second act is where him and them and the Uzma Kappa's trying to enter the scare games to get back in the scaring program. And the plot is very simple at best. But it doesn't have anything good quality to the good story. But how either way, the story in both of these movies, the first one has a new story, but the second one has a little bit of an 80s college movie style as it gets, without having anything new creativity that Pixar can do when they make prequels from their movies. So, as you already guessed, the point goes to the first one. Now let's go on to the animation. Now I'm going to focus on the prequels animation first, because it's the prequel. What do you expect? Now, in my opinion, I think the prequels animation is actually the best to look at. Now, don't get me wrong. The first one's animation is really good. It does look. I love the design of how the monsters look like, but I mostly like seeing what the main characters look like when they're young form. I like when they decrease most of Sully's fur. I like the design of the other monsters. They all look like. I like how they made their skin look like they're shiny. I like how the way they fly. I like the way how they got into the human world environment that we never seen from the first movie. It was actually does have nice animation what the characters look like in young form. And I'll do like some of the design of the monsters from MU. I especially love Dean Hardscrabble's design. She's like a centipede mixed with a dragon. What kind of monster couldn't create that? A centipede and a dragon monster. Now, as for the first movie's animation, like I said, the first movie's animation was good. The animation, I love to have a lot of hair on Sully's body. I love the way how it moves and all that stuff. And I love the design of Boo. It's a very generic animation. And that's all I have to say about the animation. So, that means point goes to the second one. As for the characters, well, let's go back again with Monsters Inc. Now, Sully is the big guy. He's subtle, and he knows, and he never tries to backlash, and he always trying to come up with new ideas that make sure that Sully, Mike, and Boo never get out of trouble. And he never goes back, and he never let anyone down for trying to after something bad is happening. As for Mike, he's a gullible best friend, and he's just gullible. That's all I say. He is just gullible. He sometimes acts like a smart alex. He's sometimes not that. He's kind of like too old school. A little bit too a gullible guy. That's all I say. Boo, what can you say? She's cute. She's nice. And some people find her annoying. As for the villain Randall, well, I love his act. I like how he was supposed to be sinister looking. And always like he's a nasty spy. He's like your nasty neighbor who's spying on you a lot. As for the prequel, well, the characters from the prequel, they're kind of way too much of a rehash. Like, you got Mike, who is the smart guy who always get good grades. Sully's the jock who always gets bad grades and bullies a lot and always be so lazy. That's all it is. As for Randall, he used to be Mike's new but nerdy buddy, but now he started joining into the bad frat team known as Mega Roar. As for the characters of Uzma Kappa, even though they're not that funny, they do have some good moments in there, and they're really good. Like, for example, Terry and Terry, they do have some personalities. Like Squishy, we all know he's a small guy, but at least he was scary enough to be terrifying. And as for Don, he is mostly kind of an old, middle age to be in the university, but that kind of holds up. So, in the end, I give it another point too. So, the point goes to the Monsters Inc. for the characters. Okay, only 2 more to go. Let's get this one short. The setup. Now let's go back to Monsters Inc. Now, Monsters Inc. setup is, the setting is basically a same ordinary college. Nothing all that new. But at least the college in this movie actually does have some creativity. Like, of course, they got the scare games, the scaring program. They're actually a class about how to do some cannon engineering. and all that stuff. And it does work very well, but nothing all that nothing all that specially new. The thing it does have something new in the setting is the games. We have a lot of techniques of how the monsters do it if they're able to go to the scare floor. And it actually does feel correctable. But still, the setting is still good, seeing the monsters in the college and so on and so forth. Now, as for Monsters Inc., and of course it takes place in the Monster World 2. And it's nice to see what the Monster City looks like, especially Monsters Incorporated itself, because it looks like an ordinary power plant for monsters. And you get to see the factory. As outside of the factory, you get to see other parts of the factory in the background, and you like to see the scare floor, and you do like seeing how the house created when they create the doors to go them in. And I like seeing the outside the human world, or they like to call it banished, where the place where monsters get banished, and all that stuff. And it does look really nice and interesting. And that's all I say about the setting. So I'm gonna give a point to both films. Because the college is nice, seeing the college and Monster University is nice, and seeing the power plant, Monster Power Plant is really good. I have anything else to say. Point to the 2 point get both points for both movies. So, in conclusion, here's my stats for these movies. Monsters Inc. gets 4 points, and Mew gets 2 points. Now, I said in the beginning that I think Monsters University is a great film, Pixar film. One of the greatest Pixar films I've seen. That doesn't mean that it's better than Monsters Inc. Monsters Inc. is still better. Well, Pixar, you don't need to, just because you make a sequel. We all know that Pixar do want to make sequels. We all know that we don't want Pixar making any sequels to their greatest films, but they have to, because we need to see the characters once again, and that's fine. But with these two movies, even though I like Monsters University a lot more than Monsters Inc., but Monsters Inc. is still a good film to everyone else in the whole world. But Monsters University, people find it alright, and that's all I have to say. I still like Monsters University more than Monsters Inc., but still, I'm just not gonna let you guys upset that I think that Monsters University is better than Monsters Inc. So, and that's my presentation for movie versus movie. I hope you all enjoy this special presentation. So, see you guys, I guess, tomorrow. Bye.